How you doing, man? Doing good?
Man.
Just got back from Mexico.
I did.
I heard it was a freaking party.
Dude, Mexico does know how to party, and it made it really nice that we were there for F1, and it was also Day of the Dead.
Mm.
So I got to experience both things, and honestly, I was more excited for Day of the Dead and being there for it.
Yeah.
Explained it all.
And you went with like your friends, right? You said 8 of them?
Yeah, so it was my girlfriend, her brother, her brother's girlfriend, and then her other brother, her cousin, and then another couple.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah, so
it's basically like your family and stuff, and then you said your girlfriend's brother proposed?
Yeah. Yeah. So like right before we got on the bus to drive around the track, it was right. So they had to plan this out of wind. So originally he was going to propose to her on the hot air balloon that we went on.
Oh yeah.
But I think he was worried that the ring was going to fall or something, because he got a really beautiful ring for her.
Nice.
And so what he ended up doing was we ended up skipping the picture with the trophy. So we went straight into the line to go around the track. So we went around the track, and then the rain, because it was raining. We all had our ponchos on, and he's like, I don't want a picture with her in her poncho.
Right.
So we went around the track, then we came back. Fortunately, the rain stopped, so we got into the line with the trophy, and as soon as we got to the trophy, they're like,
There you
and
go.
then we got her to take a picture of us, Diana,
Yep.
just to kind of distract her, and he could get the ring and everything.
There you go, yeah.
And so once I went up to the trophy, they took a picture, she got distracted, we're like, hey, and then he got on his knee. And
dude, that's crazy.
Well, what's funny, though, is she was speechless. She had no idea what to say.
Yeah.
And literally the first words out of her mouth where it was literally you have to be shitting me or something like that. I was just dying, bro.
Yeah, she had no idea. At the event, dude.
Yeah.
She get nervous? Does she get
Yeah, I don't think she got nervous.
Shy or something?
I think it was shocking.
Okay.
I think she wasn't expecting it.
Yeah. Because a lot of people are watching.
And then a lot of people were watching. She was already absorbing the whole experience with F1.
Yeah.
And then I think she was shocked there, and then all the people were rooting for her. So I think it was just a bunch of things going on at once. Yeah. And she was just
what the hell's going on?
She said yes.
Oh, that's good. That's good, man. Yeah, what a freaking way to do it, man. Obviously, that tops what I did.
You can never go to Mexico City for F1.
I've been once for work though.
Yeah.
And I think it was the craziest thing because it's just the biggest city I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's just buildings forever.
Yep.
I feel.
Yep.
You know?
So when I was in school, I think it was in Spanish class in high school, people would always talk about Mexico City.
Oh, really?
How big it was. I think at that time it was the most populated city in the world. I think now it's the 5th.
Yeah.
And so I always knew that it was a big city, but flying over it, it's holy hell, lights do not end.
No.
And then on Tuesday, we went to this dinner in this building. So supposedly they have a Guinness World Record, so it's the highest restaurant that spins in the world.
Oh, really?
And so as you spin, you get a 360 view. It's in the
whole
center of
really?
the city, so you see a 360 view of Mexico City, and it was.
You guys went there?
Huge, yeah.
What was it called?
I have no idea.
You remember?
I might have. I have the name.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's Palini or Banti or something like that. I'll find it. But yeah, super beautiful restaurant. But the view of the city is just you just see lights go. And
right.
Go and
Right.
Go and go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. It was. I remember going, and it was it's quite the experience. Obviously, it was for work, so I didn't get to do much. A lot of outside stuff. The city, Polanco, Mexico, is it's kind of a nicer part of Mexico City. And then we were really close to the Chapultepec, the Castillo de Chapultepec.
Okay, I saw that.
Yeah.
So I know exactly where you're at.
Yeah. Yep. So we were right there.
We drove right by it, just right up the block.
Yep.
Up a mile. It's the Virgin de Guadalupe.
Sure.
Church or whatever.
Yeah. The really old building.
Yeah.
Yeah. We drove by it. Yep.
Yeah. So I was in that area. A little bit of that area, and then we went and drove by the Angel. That's
Oh yeah.
El
Ángel de Independencia.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So we were there. That was closed, and then we were in Usamed or something like that. We were in a nice.
Oh yeah.
We were looking at apartments just for kicks and giggles.
Really?
And I was
really? Jeez.
Kind of wanted to swing it, but
why not, right? Jeez. No, that's fun, dude. Good for you. And I mean, that's probably. I mean, I don't think you've been to Mexico too many times. First time, okay, because you're not from Mexico, right? And your family isn't, right? And so that's the objective today, right? So basically, and I know we've talked about it, but just for folks watching this stuff, the idea is kind of just to get your backstory, right? To kind of understand, your upbringing, what you remember from when you were younger. All the way from school, elementary, middle, high school to now, how did all those things affect you now? What are you planning on doing in the future? I really just want to understand that, right? Because both of your parents, from my understanding, are not from here. Maybe just one of your parents.
No, both.
Both of them are not from here. They're both from El Salvador, right? So, okay. So you've never been to Mexico. First time, just this last week. So tell me kind of more about because I want to know, where are you from? What do you remember from your childhood? If you can, this is going to be like an extended biography, right? Definitely. So just from the beginning, right? Like, where were you born? What do you remember from it? And I'll ask you questions along the way, right?
Yeah,
so,
no so this is going to be weird. Because I've had several conversations with people. I don't know where this conversation came up. I think it was when I was in Atlanta with a couple of my buddies. Because his girlfriend was shocked that I could remember so many things.
Really?
So I really
I'd be shocked if you remember a lot. Because I can't remember shit.
I remember a lot.
Okay.
So one of the first very, 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 not very vivid, but I think it's my first memory. So for anyone that knows my dad, military background, very reserved, quiet.
Gotcha.
You gotta get him drunk to kind of get him to loosen up a little bit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But if he knows you, he's normal human being, likes to crack up, whatever.
Yeah.
But for those that know my dad, whenever he's around babies, he has a super weird high pitch kid voice, like baby talk. He just baby talks.
Okay.
And so one of my oldest memories that I think I have is blurred vision. I see a man, long hair, which my dad had long hair. He had a mullet.
Oh, really?
In the 90s.
It's kind of the style, right?
Yeah. And he was just doing that baby talk. I can hear the baby.
Really?
Talk. And that was one of my first memories that I have. And then from there, because I was born in South Central Los Angeles.
Okay.
That's where my parents ended up kind of meeting up again.
Okay, California boy.
Yep. And so from there, I have a couple memories. My dad was in a very bad semi-truck accident, so he was on the freeway. And I remember this. It was we used to have a white truck, semi-driver, truck driver, rear-ended him. I think it was on the freeway.
Oh, really?
So smashed this truck, and I remember waking up. I think it was a nap, or I don't know if I was watching a movie. I remember going to the living room, and I remember just my mom picking at his head, and she was picking out glass.
Really?
So that was one of the memories that I have in LA. And then from there, I have a few memories. I had a friend who was African American. His name was BB.
Okay.
That was one of my childhood friends back then.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I was a troublemaker. So this is gonna be probably TMI, but I remember walking out of my bathroom, and I was probably 3, 4 at this time.
Uh-huh.
And there's poop in my underwear. I pooped myself. And
Shit,
I was walking out of the bathroom. My mom's just watching TV. And she just sees me walking down with my pants down, and she's just "What the hell?" and starts yelling at me and cleans me up. Jeez. And then from there, I have a couple of memories from LA. But then from there, we moved to Logan. We used to live right by the temple.
Okay, and how long did you spend? How long?
So in
time-wise?
Los Angeles, I was there for I believe 5 to 6 years.
Okay, so you're born there and you stayed there for 5 to 6 years.
My dad left Logan first with another buddy.
Okay.
Because he had heard that Logan had a lot of job opportunities. Because in LA, cost of living is horrendous.
Always has been, huh?
Dad was, your typical Latin guy in LA. Would be at the corner waiting for someone to pick him up to go do construction work.
Okay.
Or would pick up anything.
Kind of sketchy.
But yeah, he moved to Logan first. Got a job, started working, and then my mom came, got the same job, started working at the same company. Mm-hmm. We lived right by the temple in Logan. I was a very little kid. I remember one of the coolest memories, and I can't find this specific caterpillar or worm, whatever it is, but we had this tree in the backyard, and if you would hit it or hit a branch, these like silkworms would fall and they'd just start hanging and then it'd just start going back up. It was like the weirdest thing, but one of the most coolest memories that I have as a kid.
Yeah.
And then we lived there for like, it was one room. And again, I was a troublemaker. I think the landowner hated me because I was just
really
chaotic.
You're just crazy.
And they essentially kicked us out.
Okay. At this time, you were just you, right? It was just...
Yeah, so it was me, my mom, and my dad.
Okay,
and then from there, we moved to an apartment just... If you're from Logan, you'll know this, but it's right across the street from the old Logan Coach.
Old Logan Coach.
Yeah, so do you know where Willow Park is?
Yes.
Okay, do you remember when you could go in from the north end?
Where
the fairgrounds is?
Yes.
You would go in where the deer is. The first thing you see the deer.
I think so. Yeah.
If like at that entrance you go like just up the road, it's like right by Logan High. It's these brown apartments. They're still there.
Huh.
We lived there for like maybe a month and a half, 18 months.
Okay.
And then from there we ended up moving to where my parents currently live. Over on 10th West.
Yep, 10th. Yep.
And then lived there forever up until I was 21, and then I moved to Salt Lake.
And you moved out, right?
Yeah.
Crazy. Dang. So I mean, I guess you've only been really California. Then you kind of came to Utah. You haven't really lived anywhere else. When you moved over to like kind of in Logan, right? Like, what do you remember in terms of going to school, right? Because when you started, because you said you spent 5-6 years in Los Angeles, you're probably 5-6 years old, so you're starting to go to school, right? And I think kind of given where you were, Woodruff, or where did you go? Okay, Woodruff. Okay, so did I. So we lived somewhat close to each other, right? So what do you remember about that? Like being as a kid, just you're probably really close to the school.
Yeah, so I was 5. Yeah, so I was definitely 5 when I moved to Logan because I was starting kindergarten. Went to Woodruff.
And sorry, I don't remember how old exactly old you were. This is what?
I was probably like 5. So this.
I know, but year. This is probably the
5,
what?
Maybe 97, 98.
97. Okay, gotcha.
My parents. I don't know. I wish I could remember how they like decided, hey, this kid signed up to school, but I remember them taking me to Woodruff.
Okay.
We tried to go through the back end. So if you remember Woodruff,
the old one, the old Woodruff.
Yeah, the old Woodruff
with the hill. Yeah, I remember the old Woodruff.
So there's the stairs that you would go up, and it would take you to like I don't even know where it would really take you, but we tried to go in through there. It didn't work.
Okay.
And then we ended up going to the front. And my kindergarten teacher was Miss Cook.
Okay.
And so they had to do a quick test to kind of see where I was at.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
And so they're telling me like, what's your mouth? What's your nose? What's your eyes? 100% wrong. Everything. Really? So you could see my mom and dad like,
what the hell's wrong with you?
Jack shit.
Is it because I assume your parents only spoke Spanish? Did you only speak Spanish, or did they know English?
Yeah,
did you know English?
I thought I knew English my whole life. I don't think I learned English up until maybe 6 or 7. So
okay, yeah.
Spanish.
So you were in Spanish.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's probably why when you went to school, they say, hey, what's your mouth?
I could pick up the reference. I knew that were body parts, but like 100%.
And you somewhat remember this, right? Like being tested.
Oh, yeah. I remember like the elbow, the mouth, because I remember just looking up at my mom and dad, and they're just like,
tell them what it is.
Yeah, they're trying to, but not.
Right.
And so, we did that quick test. And then next thing you know, I'm riding the yellow bus to go to Woodruff. And then getting in trouble. You definitely weren't in school yet. But my first principal at Woodruff, I almost want to say Mr. Welch, but that was the second one. I can't remember the first one. It was
Principal.
a Guyman. But I got in trouble because I think I was getting, but again, I can't really remember what was going on again. And I'm giving the girl the benefit of the doubt, but I was a troublemaker.
Yeah.
But I was swinging my sweater at her, and like, just I guess bad luck. The zipper hit her face.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I remember having to go to the principal's office.
Got in trouble.
Getting in trouble.
That was the start. That was the start of John the Menace.
Yeah.
Did you typically get in trouble at school? Like, did you try to be a good kid?
First grade, kindergarten was that. I was typically kind of taken away from the kids just because I was always the troublemaker.
Really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I remember this one time we were doing something with the gingerbread man. I don't know if it was like one of those weeks that we were learning that story, and then like, my teacher came into class with the gingerbread man, and I remember only being able to get a piece of the gingerbread man cookie, and then having to go to like my own like little corner.
Really?
Yeah, because they're just like you
can't handle this right now, right? Jeez.
And then from there, what else? I remember having fluoride for the first time. I swallowed that whole thing.
Oh yeah, I remember getting those too. I always thought it was the weirdest thing.
Yeah, it was the purple. I remember it was the purple, probably the bubblegum flavored one, but I drank it all because it was bubblegum and root beer.
Right.
Swallowed it, and I'm having to call my mom. She couldn't pick me up because she was working, so her friends had to come pick me up. And then from there, it was like first grade, kind of like the same thing. So at this point, so I had a lot of, like, Diana and I were talking about this the other day.
Mm-hmm.
But Logan, essentially, not Logan, but like a lot of people in Logan raised me. I had like 5 or 6 babysitters.
Okay.
The first one was the worst just because I really struggled eating. I don't know why.
Like you didn't want to eat, or
I think so. I don't know if it was I didn't want to eat or whatever, but or I just wasn't fed. I just don't remember.
Really?
I just remember my mom would make this like seafood plate, and it was this, and it has a clamato, so it's red.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Tomato
It's
juice.
called aiba, so I don't know if that sounds
okay. Aiba.
It's got like crab, meat, shrimp.
And you didn't like it, or you did?
I love that stuff,
okay, you love that.
I don't know why I couldn't eat that day.
Huh.
Or I'm assuming I just didn't. I don't know. But I remember it was this old lady over by the temple taking care of me, and this one day she, like, I didn't want to eat. She's like, "You need to freaking eat," and I was like, "I want to," and she goes and pulls my I think it was my left ear.
Still remember, dude.
And I like start crying. I was okay, and as I'm eating, I can just feel something
blood.
Warm going down my skin.
No way.
And then I see it fall into my bowl, and it was blood.
Jeez.
And then she realizes it. She cleans me up, puts a bandage. She's like, "You tell your dad that this happened at your house."
Really?
And I was like, "Okay." And so my parents end up obviously seeing the Band-Aid.
Yeah, that's what happened. You probably told them.
I told him that I told him that it happened there, and my dad got.
Oh,
livid.
did he? Okay.
Oh, my dad was
pissed.
Livid, and then they went and like bitched her out, and then they found me another babysitter.
Okay.
I run into her a lot. She was like at my little like birthday thing that my mom did last year.
Okay.
And she'll tell everyone. She's like, when I received Jonathan, he was like pale, yellow,
really?
malnutrido, and I was just
right.
like, I don't know what was going on. But then she took care of me for a little bit, and then when I went to first grade, I had another babysitter named Dorian Liskey.
Yep, I know Dorian.
So she's like my second mom.
Dorian.
Yep, and she.
It's funny.
And this is where I found out that I didn't know English because when I went and met her kids, again, troublemaker. My parents were meeting her and whatnot, and I just left and had to find the noise.
Sure.
And I saw her kids, and I just go up to them, and all I could say was, "Remember me."
Really? In English? Like, that's the only thing you could say.
And they're just like, they're dying. But yeah, she taught me English. I had to have speech therapy in second grade.
Okay.
But yeah, going back to first grade, do you remember the white slip, yellow slip, pink slips when you get in trouble?
I didn't get in trouble very much, so I don't remember too much of that.
And then white, and I think there was yellow, but yeah, white was like, yellow was, and then pink was like,
bad.
You messing up.
Yeah.
So in gym, again, I was just talking.
Sure.
And the gym teacher ended up, I forgot his name, but his wife is a teacher at middle school.
Oh yeah, Mr. Papernick.
Yes.
Yes, I knew him.
He ended up giving me a yellow slip or a white slip, and I was
way.
bawling and like pissed.
Oh really?
And it caused a big scene, and I was like, "Oh, my stomach hurts," or whatever. And then Dorian had to come pick me up, and she just made me said, "Oh, your stomach hurts." She's like, "Just lay on a pillow, and you're not gonna leave because you left school early and whatnot."
Right.
And then from there, second grade suspended.
Jeez.
For a bunch of dumb stuff. Third grade, typically just getting kicked out of classes and having to write I will not do this again.
Really?
I don't know why. I gave someone a Charlie horse. I just kneed him in their leg and just laughs.
Jeez,
and
dude.
write like 3 or 6 pages of like, I will not do this again or whatnot.
Right.
And then I could go back into class. 4th grade, I was a little better. 5th grade, I was a little better, but still doing dumb stuff. Like, for example, one day, we were out in the field. So, like, the east side of Woodruff, you know, that soccer field.
Yep.
We were just out there chilling, playing soccer. And it was recess. And someone's like, oh, look, a mouse. And so I was like, oh, like, it's a mouse, whatever. And I pick it up. And for whatever reason, I had the urge to squeeze the mouse.
Oh, geez.
So I squeeze it a little bit, and the mouse just bites me. And
Oof.
the type of mouse that this thing was is a bull.
Okay.
So I didn't tell anyone. I didn't care. But word got out. And then I go back from recess. I think we went to lunch, and then we're coming back.
Okay.
So it was like that first recess in the morning, go to lunch.
Oh, yeah, I used to get 2, huh?
Yeah, and then do the recess, and I go back in to the school, and I see Mr. Kressel outside the classroom.
Okay.
And I see my mom and dad, and my mom's just like scared shitless.
Really?
And I'm just like, what's going on? Like, hey, like we found out you got bit by a mouse. I was like,
Your rabies.
I was like, yeah, and they're like, yeah, buddy, you gotta go and get some shots.
Some shots, yeah.
Yeah, so they took me to the hospital, and my mom was like, "You freaking idiot! I thought you were dead or something." I was like, "Why?"
Jeez.
Like when they called us and said it was a wolf, your dad heard wolf.
Oh,
and
shit.
So we were like in dead.
They're like, damn, you're freaking. You lost a hand, dude. You're freaking. You're
and
done.
So they were losing it. But then from there, middle school was pretty good. I got suspended a couple of times still, just for fights and just fun stuff.
In this whole time, from when you get to middle school, are you still with Dorian, or did you said you had like a ton of?
No, middle school I was outside.
Okay. Did she have
join up until 5th grade?
Up until 5th grade?
Yeah, so
okay.
from like 1st to 5th.
Did she kind of? Because I know we talked about this last time. She was kind of like almost like your second mom, right? You kind of were mentioning that. Like, did she kind of, hear about those things that you were doing in school? Maybe tell you, hey, John, what the hell are you doing?
Like she did what she could. She's very Mormon, so she'd always like throw some of those little like things in there. But she really, really, really made me like try to be a good student. Like I was a troublemaker, but I was a good student. Like 100% on all my spelling bees, which to this day I would not be able to do that.
Sure.
She would always make me read. But she'd make me do all the tedious tasks, homework, everything.
Yeah.
But where you could see that I just didn't care is, do you remember the end of year
testing?
Yeah,
sure.
I would score like way below.
Really? You just didn't want to do it?
I just didn't care. Probably. But also, like, I found out like 2-3 years ago, I have ADHD.
Right.
So that probably also has something
to do with it.
That,
yeah, and that's kind of crazy because, I mean, you mentioned this now, and, you kind of talk about how you don't like to sit still and stuff. And that kind of like tells me, because my wife, Bailey, like she obviously has that situation where she doesn't want to sit still.
Yep.
And so that's kind of like, oh, you probably have it. And I know you, and you don't really like to, sit around very much, right? So I'm like, okay, you probably have ADHD. You probably already knew that. But like as a kid, I'm sure that was kind of, new, right? I feel like not a lot of kids.
That's what's hard in the Latin culture.
Sure.
Because my brother, for sure, we knew that he had ADHD.
Okay.
Like, we absolutely knew it.
Yeah.
But my parent and the doctor's like, well, we can put him on medication, Adderall, whatever it be. But my parents did not want to put him on it because they're like deathly afraid. Like, well, what if he like takes these drugs?
Some side effect. Yeah.
Or what if he takes these drugs? Like, I'd rather see him jumping around, having fun, instead of just sitting on the couch.
Right.
And just like.
That's kind of what it made him do, right? The point of it is like to just calm you down, focus.
Yep.
And then. But it also kind of has those effects on you where you're kind of not really the same person.
Oh,
you're kind of like totally
My
different.
Diana hates it when I'm on Adderall because she's just like, you're just.
So you take it from now on?
I take it work days. I don't take it on the weekends.
Okay. So
unless there's something really important going on the weekends where I need to be like on my best behavior, like not best, but just like still or whatever. Then I'll take it on the weekends, but I try not to.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. And then you started taking this. Did you take it like
2-3 years ago?
Oh, so you started 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
So as a kid, you didn't.
No, I didn't take it at college. Like all I would do, like you'll see my legs start to like move. My dad got me into gum, so I just chew on gum.
Really?
Just kind of keep moving.
Yeah.
And that was really it. And then like like if I get distracted, it's like really bad.
It's bad,
especially
right?
when I'm not on it, because I'll just do anything.
Right. Yeah, that's funny. I mean, it's not funny, but obviously it's like, that's a situation that you had to grow up in, and your parents were probably super, didn't really know much about this. They obviously were scared to give you medicine. You never know about the side effects. And two, I just remember, because I also had Dorian also was a babysitter for me, and that's kind of where I met your brother. That's kind of where I started meeting you, right? You probably didn't remember me at all, but like because you were going to school and I was still younger. But I remember going over there, and like she had all day long was playing PBS, like PBS Kids. You remember PBS Kids? Like all the educational TV, and that's just the only thing I saw, right? And I guess I was a little different in the sense where I was, I guess I wasn't as much of a troublemaker as you, but I remember her being that way, right? That motherly figure, very, helpful, trying to push education all the time.
I loved going to her house on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Because she makes the best pancakes. She makes the best anything. Like when she would make me breakfast, like if my mom didn't pack me breakfast and she'd make me breakfast, I still can't replicate her eggs, but her eggs with a little bit of salt and pepper.
Oh my gosh. That's funny you mentioned that, because I remember her daughter.
Senior Rosemary.
Yeah. Oh, I don't remember.
The older or the younger?
She was in high school by the time I was there. I don't remember, but she would have eggs. Right. She'd have eggs like every day. And I just remember, she gave me some one time and I was like, wow, these are really good. I don't know how she does it either. It's probably butter.
I thought it was milk. I don't think it's the milk. I don't know. But it's just like very fluffy and moist.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people don't like them that way, but I love them that way, right? Fluffy, soft.
With butter toast. You should always make it.
They always had toast. Yep, they always had toast and eggs. And then
if
good breakfast.
There on Saturday, she'd make pancakes. And,
I bet those are good.
God, I could just. I think when I was in 4th grade, I could like before when I was little, I'd probably eat like 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I got to 4th grade, I was eating like 4 to 8, hands down.
Really?
Because they're like super thin.
Okay. Yeah.
So super easy to eat, and I think she'd have like her either homemade syrup or a very specific syrup that she would store in her garage.
Like a maple syrup type of thing.
It was
super good.
Yeah.
So I guess you kind of got over the whole eating thing. You started learning English, I assume.
Very nurturing, right? Like, like you said, like she was always making sure that you were putting education first, and that your health was always good. She was always taking me out. She was the reason why I got a library card in Logan.
Really? Wow.
I was a part of a bunch of like different like summer clubs.
Oh wow.
Because of her, she signed me up for like swimming lessons.
Helped you a lot.
Yeah, and then what else did she do? She tried to get me into like Boy Scouts.
Okay.
She did a lot for me.
Right. No, that's awesome. That's really good, obviously, for a babysitter, right, to kind of help you do those things. And I think, you mentioned when you first started school, like you weren't, when they gave you those tests on the whole English thing, did you have a moment to where like you finally like clicked with English, like you could mix the two, or do you remember that? No.
I thought that I was good.
Right.
And this is where I hate my memory, because it's just it literally, or maybe it's just because I've spoken it so much now that my memories are all for the most part in English. But I think 1st grade I was decent at English, and then 2nd grade, because I was always in like those like ESL.
Yeah.
Or like, and then again, I had speech therapy in elementary school as well. And I forgot the other one. I can't remember it. I think it's just all within that speech therapy thing.
Yeah.
But I remember one of my friends, and her name's Ashley Ryan. Her mom was I think it's my speech therapist. And so she was teaching me kind of like, because I couldn't roll my R's. I couldn't do a lot.
Oh, really?
I really
Okay.
can speak.
Interesting.
And so she like got me up to speed, and then I think by the time I got to 5th grade, that's when my confidence was like boosted heavily, because my Mr. Kressel was all like, "Hey, I'm not gonna send you to ESL anymore. Like, I don't want you to be taken away from my class." He's like, "Just remember this." He's like, capital letters at the first of every sentence, period at the end of the sentence, and you'll be good.
And you'll be good.
And so, okay.
And then you kind of just, just kind of clicked.
I was all right. I know how to speak English.
Jeez.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy. I know a lot of different people probably, you think you know how to speak a certain language, and then all of a sudden you find out you don't.
Yep.
You know, everybody has a different experience, right? I remember, you know, myself, I also had ESL, right? I had to go to those classes where I was learning English. You know, you have those nursery rhymes,
Yep.
right? And all those different things. But I remember myself, just to kind of, you know, put it in, because I remember it very well, right? I think I was in probably like kindergarten or so, but I remember figuring out the difference between August and October, because to me they were the same, right? Because in the class, when they were asking and talking about stuff, they were talking about, you know, when's your birthday, right? We're going to find out when your birthday is. I think it was, you know, like I said, kindergarten, Head Start even maybe. And they were, you know, they said, okay, I'm going to say the month. You tell me if this is your birthday month, and then we'll put you on this board. She said August, and I was like, oh, my birthday's in August 21st. I knew the day, obviously. And then she went August, September, and then she said October. And then for some reason in my head, I was like, August, October. It was like the same, but then I finally figured out, oh, October, like with the bats and shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's my month, right? That's my birthday. So when I figured that out, like that day, that's when I remember I was like, oh, I know two different languages. Yeah. Like, this is totally different, right? So then I told her, oh, my birthday's not in August, it's in October. And so like I feel like the teacher like could see that I was thinking, because obviously she knew I was, you know, Hispanic and stuff. And you know, obviously we changed it, but ever since that day, you know, I was like, okay, that's when I learned English. You know what I mean? After all of that time, you know, listening to rhymes, reading books, you know, doing all this alphabet stuff, like listening to my friends, to teachers, just anybody really, it just clicked, right? So for me, that was then. And for me, it's really like, I remember it very, very well, but I know some people probably don't remember that, or.
I don't. Like, I try, because like, I had like several friends in that neighborhood: Trevor, Nick, Robert, Jonathan Jr., a bunch of other kids. And I remember just speaking to,
just gibberish.
No, yeah,
it's gibberish.
Because Nick was one of my first friends. He was white, and we'd always hang out. And I remember one of the weirdest words that I did hear though was potty.
Potty?
Yeah, he'd always be, I gotta go potty. I'm like, you going to a party?
Oh,
like,
okay.
What party?
Yeah.
Go to a party every like 30 minutes. Like, what party are you talking about? And then his mom's like, no, potty, like bathroom.
Potty, bathroom.
Like, oh,
yeah, right.
Weird.
Nobody really says that, but
yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's a Spanish word for potty. Like,
al baño? Yeah.
Right, for sure. But there's no potty. Like, potty doesn't directly translate to Spanish. You know what I mean?
Like party, and that's how I
exactly. Right. So that's probably why you messed it up. But
yeah.
So that's pretty cool, man. I mean, kind of that whole upbringing, right, within your elementary school, and then obviously having the babysitters is pretty sweet. When you got to middle school, I assume, you know, you went to somebody new, but also you're older.
No, so I think 5th grade was the last year I had a babysitter.
Okay.
Maybe like halfway into that, and then once I went to 6th grade, no babysitter, especially because the bus would pick you up right in front of your house.
Mm-hmm. I remember there's a bus stop pretty close.
Yeah. So I would just, I don't even know how, wake up early, change.
You did it yourself?
Ride the bus, yeah.
Really? Dang. So just from everything you learned from
probably like
1st to 5th, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
So middle school, high school, you know, I feel like a lot of it's similar. Obviously, up in Logan, you have 6, 7, 8. You have 9 to 12, right? What was it like being in middle school, high school? And I assume now is kind of where, you know, I think your brother's there, right? Your brother's kind of been in the picture for a minute now. Your sister's probably been in the picture for a minute. Not yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, my brother was born 2000, so I think I was like around 5th grade.
Crazy. That's exactly when my brother was born. Yeah, my brother was born 2000.
Yeah, because I think they're the same
Same
grade.
age, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So my brother is a 2000 baby. So he's at this point, maybe I'm 6. That makes me 11. So he's 3 at this point.
Okay.
And so it's just me and my brother. He wasn't in school yet.
Mm-hmm.
But and then it was like in 2007, 7 years later, my mom had my sister.
Okay, 2007.
So there's 3 of us.
Okay. So, and the reason I kind of wanted to go this way, so we maybe touch on more or less you as a brother now. Because me and you are somewhat similar in the sense that we're both the oldest sibling, right? So, going into middle school, going into high school, what did you kind of see yourself as, like, being the older sibling? Did you think that you kind of had that responsibility of, like, taking care of your younger siblings, maybe being an example to them? Did that ever kind of cross your head when you were going to school, or?
It didn't. I'm not gonna lie. I was pretty bad with my brother.
Okay.
It's kind of cold, and I think it's just more because of the age gap. My mom says I was pretty jealous when he was born.
Really? Okay.
Like, there's probably like a random moment when they found me in his crib just laying there.
Really?
An 8-year-old not doing that.
Jeez.
Like,
yeah.
But like, which makes like it's probably one of my biggest regrets, just because I wish I would have been there for him a lot more. But
Sure.
again, I didn't understand his situation. My parents were always just like, hey, he's fine.
Sure.
But now I'm growing up and kind of learning more about health, mental health, and everything. It's like homeboy needed a lot more patience, really.
Yeah.
Because he struggled with school. He thrived in anything athletics.
Yeah.
And I was like never really there. I tried to have the patience for him, but I just never had it. And I think it's just because of my dad. My dad has no patience. Like if he asks you to do something,
Really?
it's then and there. And if he has to do anything, it has to be perfect.
Right.
And so I think that's why I never really had patience with him, because like I remember doing his math, helping him with his math homework, and I would lose my mind. Like, dude,
Really?
1 + 1 is 2. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And so I kind of like would give up on him there. But my parents would always be like, hey, like you gotta go to college.
Right.
You gotta have good grades. You gotta.
Your parents told your brother that, or you? Okay. Yeah.
Because you have to be an example for your brother,
Sure.
but not only your brother, but like the community,
Sure.
Especially in Logan at that time, like
Small town.
and I had friends that were good examples, but nobody that was like where we are today, right? Like,
Sure.
to be like, hey, this person, started in Logan, went to elementary school, middle school, Logan High, maybe a college, maybe a local college, or went to some other college, and look what they're doing now. We had none of that. None of that.
Right.
Those examples. And so, so my parents were just like, you got to be an example for your brother, but not only your brother, you have to be an example for your community. You got to show up. And on the flip side too, whenever I would fuck up, and cops would be involved, my dad would be like, well, if you want to go back to El Salvador when they deport me, keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
You're just going to eat beans and tortillas for the rest of your life.
For sure. Yeah.
And that would kind of like
scare
me, but then again, I don't know. I just always have that urge to fuck up again.
You just kind of had, it's kind of just your it's kind of just who you are, right?
Yeah.
I mean, since you were a little kid, you probably just didn't know any better. And yeah, sure. Yeah. Everything you do, probably.
Yeah.
Even like with work today, maybe. I don't know.
Everything.
So crazy. I mean, obviously, like I said, you're the older brother. You're kind of, being an example. Today, obviously I understand, you're probably someone that they both look up to. Tell me a little bit more about maybe, that transition from, going from high school to college, because I'm a little bit curious there, because, I think in high school, you kind of become an adult, right? I think you kind of, you have a lot more responsibilities. You start driving, your siblings definitely look up to you. You're starting to think about college and stuff. Was high school good for you? High school easy? Did you do a lot of sports, grade-wise?
No, I mean, it was weird, man. Like, even like going back to like middle school, right? One of the things I wish somebody would have said is that there's going to be multiple schools at Mount Logan School. Mount Logan.
Schools, or do you mean like classes?
Schools. I mean, you already knew.
I get what you're saying.
But I did not know. I thought it was just going to be Woodruff all over.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yep.
I did not know that it was going to be everyone in that valley going to Mount Logan Middle School. So I saw all these new different people, and I was just like, what the hell is going on?
Sure.
And then on top of that,
was that a shock to you?
It was a massive shock, just because like first, second, third grade, I was a bit of like not a loner, but I didn't really have friends outside of my neighborhood friends.
Right.
Yeah, I had Trevor and Robert. Those were like my buddies that we'd always do everything. But Robert was like 4 years older than me, so he's kind of like at that point he's already in middle school.
Right.
So again, different stage of his life, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. And then Trevor ended up moving to Hyde Park.
Oh, so he didn't go.
So he didn't go. He went to middle school for like, I think 2 months, and then he moved to Hyde Park. So I lost that friend.
Okay, yeah.
So a bit of a loner. But you know, 6th and 7th grade, I was just kind of hanging out with anybody and everybody, doing whatever. So I had really good friends, and I also had really bad friends. And then 8th grade is kind of like where I made a lot of really, really, really good friends. I like Magnus, Tanner Sears, Jose Bernal, were like the 3 main ones. There's Juan Betancourt, and a bunch of other dudes that I'd always hang out with. And so
all of them from like different walks of life, or very similar to you, like upbringings.
I think the only one that was from Woodruff was Juan Betancourt.
Really?
And quick story on him. He's the reason why I passed my multiplication and division.
he did it for you, or what?
No, like, so we made these flashcards in 3rd grade in Miss Suter's class, and he was just, and like before it got to the point where like if you had to pass, and if you didn't pass, you wouldn't go out to recess.
Oh shit! Okay.
And because he was my partner,
he helps your ass, huh?
Yeah, he was just like, dude, like 2 times 12.
He just mailed that shit off to you.
So I was all right. But yeah, middle school was hard. I think it's just your typical middle school, right?
Sure.
Like,
you're
growing. You're some might be going through puberty. Like everything and anything is changing, right?
Yeah.
I think that's when movies, music, culture starts to have a bigger influence on,
for sure,
on your life. So 6th, 7th, difficult, but not too bad. I maintained my grades high enough so that my parents wouldn't freak out, but it wasn't like it was maybe like barely below or barely above a 3.0. That's where my GPA was. Then 8th grade comes around. I don't give a fuck if he hears this. Mr. Lentz. I hate him. So this is middle school algebra, I'm assuming.
Yes.
I don't even know what it was, because I remember having to go to 8th grade math after this.
Okay.
But it was y equals mx plus b. It was when we were learning that.
Algebra,
none of that made sense to me.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I was like, what?
What letters?
So we go and take a test. I knew I was going to fail. Oh, before this test, sorry, let me say why I hate them. I clearly knew that I was about to fail if I didn't get more help. So I go to Mr. Lentz. I was like, hey, I really need your help. I don't want to fail your class.
Yeah.
He's all right, cool. Come to my class after school, and I will help you understand. Cool. And I had like a week before my exam at this point.
Yeah. Oh, dang. Okay.
So I go, and I go after school. I go to his classroom. Lights are off. And I'm like, okay. Waited for 15 minutes. No one shows up.
Dude, homeboy left.
Yeah, homeboy left. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? The only thing, I give him the slight benefit of the doubt. I was like, maybe, just maybe, he had
something happened. Yeah, some emergency.
Fucker could have left me alone.
True.
But week passes, right? I hated him. I did not respect him at all. So we go to class, test day the following week, and I knew I was gonna fail. I was like, there's no way in hell.
Yeah.
So I just become the ass clown, and just start fucking around. He walks out of the classroom. I stand on my desk, and I was like, "Everybody, look at me!" And I get a pencil and a ruler, and I just start spinning it. And I just, I'm a helicopter. Comes right in, get the heck out of my classroom, kicks me out, and go to Miss Timmons' class.
No way.
First day of Miss Timmons' class, she was talking to someone. I'm not gonna interrupt. And I was like, "Hey, my name's Jonathan. I'm in your class." I go in, sit down. She's finishing talking to some teacher. Pulls me out. She's like, listen, I don't know who the heck you think you are, but you better show me some respect. And I was like, look, you're talking to someone. I was like, if you want me to interrupt, then cool, I'll interrupt you next time. But I'm in your class, so deal with it. Like, what the hell are you gonna do about it? I just did not care. I hated her. Her class was like the easiest A.
Okay. So that was a math class. Went to a different math class.
So that was middle school. Middle school was just a mess. But like the highlight of really middle school was. It was probably the same for you, I don't know, but 8th grade dance.
The 8th grade dance? Sure, yeah.
Christmas dance. And that's when I had friends that were kind of a little bit more reckless, and they would like have like house parties at their house.
Oh, really?
Those little things. Those are like my highlights of middle school. And then you go to high school, And it's all over the same thing. I mean, same group of students, but then you have 12th graders, people that you've never met.
Way older than you.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. It's way older than you.
And that's when everything, like, middle school is already cliquish.
Sure.
But high
gets
school
to that point,
gets
very
super cliquish. Because, again, I would talk to anybody and everybody in middle school. Even 8th grade. I would hang out with my friends, but I still talk to everybody.
Yeah.
High school comes around.
And this is year...
This is 2005, 2006.
Okay, when you started?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, there are people that I, like, loved, adored, like, just genuine great people that, or I thought, that would talk to me in middle school, and then I go up to them first at school, what's up? Cold shoulder, bro.
No way.
What the hell?
Really?
So lost all those friends, and there are genuine people that like were like Hillary Dodd, Riley Burbank are like the two girls from middle school that have never changed. Like I adore them. I would consider us just like acquaintances maybe at this point, just because like different different stages of our life, and occasionally like I'll say something on their Instagram or whatever, but just like anytime I see them, like they'll look you in your eyes, like how are you, how have you been, like what's new, like genuinely care about you. But then what sucks too, in ninth grade is like, again, I did not have the best friends. So some of them like either got kicked out of Logan High, like right off the bat, just because of bad grades in middle school.
No way.
Others just got sent to another school again just because of bad habits and everything else. So freshman, sophomore year, didn't really have. I would hang out with anybody and everybody. I just didn't really care. Decent grades again. Never failed. Mr. Lentz's class is the only class I failed, by the way, ever in my in my educational career.
Only one. Jeez. You won't forget.
Yeah, I won't. I hate him. But 8th grade. So like high school, like
junior year, senior
freshman
year.
was weird. I was mostly friends with a lot of older people.
Okay.
Just because of Francini Liskey.
Oh, okay.
Daughter. She was a junior, and she would always take care of me. Same with like middle school and 6th grade. She introduced me to all her older friends, and so they would always kind of like look out for me. Would always hang out with me. Want to whatever. High school was like the same thing. I would hang out with like Angel Lopez's sister. So Ale, Pamela, Talia, Gabby. There's a bunch of people that I'd always hang out with. And then junior year is when I met one of like my really close friends, Manny Quesada. So I'd always hang out with him. And then senior year, I was dating Audi. So I was always like mostly with her. Whenever things.
You guys kind of had that group of friends that you mentioned, right?
You
guys were all. Because like you said, in high school, you kind of start getting a little bit cliquey. Certain people start to hang out with certain people. Were all these people that you're kind of hanging out with at this point, like, very similar to you, very different from you? People that maybe, I don't know.
Polar opposites.
I
think I'm the only one of my group friends that went to college.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, dang. In terms of, like, background, though, like, where they're from. Where they're from, parents. Okay. I
can't even think of anybody that was of another culture.
Really? Okay. Dang. Well, crazy. I mean, obviously, we'll kind of get into what happens after high school and stuff, and maybe college and everything. But it sounds like up from elementary all the way to high school. I mean, you just really learned a ton of different things, and then once you kind of got up to that point to where you're from high school, you're in high school, you kind of start to find your group a little bit. You kind of start to make more friends. You're probably, being a little bit of a better student. You're kind of starting to think about, college and stuff. Obviously you're dating, stuff like that, right? Between that whole time, obviously we've talked a lot about you, a little bit about your siblings. Are your parents just working their asses off 24/7?
I'm with Angel, right? So 9th grade was before Christmas break, somewhere around November, December. I can't really remember. I just remember it being a very like dark day, like dark in the sense of the event, and dark just because it was like daylight savings.
Sure.
You know, darker early,
Yeah.
whatever. But immigration came, raided, right? Miller's.
Did your parents work there?
What?
Or
Yeah,
no?
yeah, yeah.
They
That's
did?
where they worked.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, I remember receiving the call, and from my dad, I was in Mr. Newber's class, and my dad's like, "Hey, like, shit's about to hit the fan."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Immigration just raided Miller's. They're taking hundreds of people from here.
Mm-hmm.
Just be ready. Like, you're like, I'm sure a bunch of your friends' parents are about to be."
Yeah. Your dad told you this?
Yeah.
Okay. From his work or?
Yeah, from his cell phone. He just called me.
Okay, yeah.
And he's just like, "This is what's going on. Just be ready."
Sure.
So my first instinct was like, fuck school.
You just leave?
Yeah, I
What-
get up.
You're in...
Mr. Newber's class. I think I was in geometry.
Okay, this is middle school. Yeah? High school.
High
Oh, so you're in high school when this happened. Okay. And this was in what, 2006?
2006,
Right?
2005.
Yeah,
I think
somewhere around there, right?
2005. Yeah, because in 2006,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
I think around that time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I said fuck it. It wasn't geometry. I think it was like Earth Systems or something.
Sure,
like that.
yeah.
So I packed my stuff. Got up, and Mr. Newber's like, "Where do you think you're going?" I was like, "I'm leaving your class."
Yeah.
And then he said something else. I was like, "You can try to stop me, but I was like,
Yeah.
it's not gonna work."
Yeah, well, he probably didn't know.
Yeah,
Nobody
no,
probably really
no,
knew at that point.
no.
You probably got
No,
the
'cause I
first.
remember walking out of the hall, just quiet, right? Just me, myself, and I. And at that time, Logan and I didn't really have an attendance policy,
Sure.
so I didn't really care.
Yeah.
But then eventually after the first period, because I was trying to figure out what to do, like I didn't have a car, right? I didn't drive at that time. But at the end of that period, you see everyone, and then you see the tears. You see everyone,
Right.
like, you know, consoling everybody else.
Yeah.
A bunch of my friends that were older that could drive left to go to Miller's. To
Oh,
see
really?
what the fuck was going on?
Really?
And
Yeah.
see if their parents are okay or whatnot.
Yeah.
And I ended up ultimately just leaving and going to pick up my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Check them out, and we ended up just waiting for my parents till they got home, and they got home like at 5 or 6 that day.
PM, yeah.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
from there we ended up having to like go.
So they were fine. What did they do? Do you know kind of what
Like,
they
in
did
terms
there?
of work or
No. Like so that day, you know, obviously your dad calls you, so he's probably someone told you something,
no,
right?
So we were worried about my dad. So my mom was good. She
Okay.
had her residency, so it wasn't
Okay.
like a big issue for her.
Sure.
But my dad, on the other end, he has like a work visa essentially
Mhm.
at that point.
Yeah.
So we were worried, and then especially I didn't know this until after, but he told me that the immigration agent or officer, whatever, wanted to have his paperwork on him. He's like, "You're supposed to have
Really?
this on you all times."
Yeah.
And my dad's like, "No one has ever told me that."
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I mean, if you guys want to come with me to my house, I'll gladly give you this paperwork.
Right, but that's also
But
kind of
no one's ever
sketchy.
told me.
Yeah.
And so the officer's like, "No," and then I found his record, like, "You're good."
Oh, okay.
So
So
he
he
was
was
like-
good.
yeah,
Did
he
he
was
work
good.
that day then still, or did they
No,
just
I mean,
kind of?
after that, I think they're just trying to either help their friends, help people
Okay.
hide still.
I was gonna say because if they didn't get home till about 5-6, I mean they had to have done
they were
something.
there,
throughout the
they were
day.
trying to figure something out. Yeah, because
Yeah.
they left way later in the day.
Jeez.
But yeah, dude, that was a dark period where kind of like, again, I was always having decent grades just out of the fear of not wanting to piss off my dad.
Sure.
I would tell him I wanted to go to college. I had ideas like, oh, maybe I want to go do this, be an engineer, an architect, whatever.
Yeah.
But truly, I had no intent. I had no intentions of any of that. But
Yeah.
that moment was one of those first moments where I'm like, man, I really probably should do something with my life because I don't want
Yeah.
to be taken advantage of. I don't
No,
want
for
to
sure.
leave them in
For
these
sure.
conditions. And I ultimately did want to leave Logan.
Yeah.
I was like, I need money for that.
Yeah.
So that was one of those like first moments where I was like, all right, let's do better. Which I did. Sophomore year, I think I just averaged like a 3.3 GPA.
Mhm.
I was trying, but not really. Freshman year, I'd only show up for exams and like
Really?
that was it. I wouldn't, like,
Take the test and
literally
that's
my
it.
group of, probably my grade, and then like a bunch of the other friends that were part of that group are the reason why they had that new attendance policy.
Really?
I don't even know if you were there. You weren't there. My junior year is when they started having a strict
Attendance policy?
Yeah, the Saturday school.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, 5 tardies and it's automatic.
Right.
Yeah,
I feel like it changed every year.
Yeah.
Right. When I was in high school, it was always different. Like.
But we ended up having to have a meeting. It was like 100, 250 students.
Yeah.
In the auditorium, and the principal was all like, "You all have missed over 50% of school up until this point.
Jeez.
If you guys do better starting right now, we will forgive and forget. If you don't, there will be consequences."
Talk about sending a message.
We called their bluff. They did nothing.
Really?
Yeah. And
okay.
then the following years when they did the school attendance.
Jeez. See, I mean, I guess it depends, right? If you obviously want to send a message, that's one way to do it. But also, I'm sure some people were like, "Yeah, you're full of shit."
Oh, we
dude.
caught it. I mean, we were
full
like,
shit.
they won't. There's too many of us. Like, what are they gonna do?
Sure.
Send us to jail? Cool. Like, they're not gonna do it.
Expel all of us, suspend all of us, whatever.
And so yeah,
No
that
way.
was that. Junior year, decent, surprisingly, and then senior year, I ended up having to go to a funeral.
Yeah.
And I saw this girl that was in a quinceañera that I was in 8th grade. And she was this was her freshman year. I don't know if you know her, Anna Guadarrama.
I know the Guadarrama last name, but I don't know Anna.
I don't know. Yeah,
Is she related
she's
to?
way older than you. I think she is, Myra.
Myra? Okay, she related maybe to Myra. I know.
She's. I mean.
Well, I grew up with I grew up with Alan. You know Alan, right? From Sunday League Soccer. His brother Kevin.
That sounds familiar.
Alan Guadarrama, Kevin Guadarrama. I know them.
Family.
Yeah.
But I saw her at this funeral. And this was right before fall break.
Okay.
This is my senior year. And she's like, "Hey, like, you're a senior this year, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Are you thinking about college?" I was like, "It's like, yeah, I feel like I should be, but I was like, I don't even know where to start. Like, I don't know what to do."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Okay, like," she's like, and she's like, "Do you want to come on campus with me?" So she was going to Utah State at this year.
Okay.
At this point, so she was definitely like a freshman, sophomore. And she's like, yeah, she was a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "I can give you a tour of campus. I can even bring you into one of my classes so you can experience the college course.
Yeah.
And then we can introduce you to a couple people that can help you get started on like whatever it is
Sure.
that you need to do to get."
FAFSA and all that stuff.
So and it was fall break, so I got lucky. So we go on campus. I don't know where we ended up meeting, but we go on campus, and then she gives me a little bit of a tour of the TSC building.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to like what was the MSS at that point.
Okay.
And meet a couple people, and then she takes me to the MSS. I don't know what it is now.
Lounge now.
Yeah,
I don't really know
lounge,
what it's.
Not the lounge. The center.
Oh, okay. It's in the TSC. No, it's still in the student center.
I forgot what it was back. Oh my gosh, I interned there and I forgot the name of it. But yeah, she took me there. Met a couple good people. She introduced me to like Keith, Tony Flores, Diversity and Inclusion Center. That's what it's called.
Okay, gotcha.
And so I meet all these people, and they're like, "Yeah, man, like, you really need to go to college, like, good experience, whatnot." Yeah. And then right before the day ends, she's like, "All right, let's go to admissions and see what we need to do to
kind of get you started, right?
Get your application going and whatnot."
Yeah.
So she introduces me to Vanessa Garcia.
Okay.
And Vanessa is
sounds familiar.
Yeah, at that point she was the president of, or like the director of like the multicultural club.
Yeah.
And so she was just like, getting to know me. What do you do? Like, where are you from? And then she's like, and then we got into the nitty-gritty. What's your GPA? Which is like,
it's your ACT.
At that point I think my GPA was 3.3.
Okay.
And my ACT was, I think, a 19 or a 20.
Mm-hmm.
She's all right. Your ACT is decent. She's like, but we need to raise
the GPA.
ACT.
Oh.
No, your ACT. Sorry, my GPA is decent.
Okay.
We need to raise your ACT.
Gotcha.
And then she's like, "What are you doing in November?" And I was like, "I don't have any plans." And
Nothing.
She's like, "Okay, well, we have Diversity Day."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "And this is when we hand out scholarships. If you would like to apply, which I want you to, you should."
Yeah.
but we need to raise your ACT.
Right.
And so I was okay. I was like, well, I missed the last ACT, so I can't take another one. So she's like, we can take it on campus. You can take
nice.
whatever one that USU offers.
Yeah.
Was, okay. And so, which then Miss Nilsson, bless her heart, love her. She's my guardian angel. But she did scare the shit out of me my first day of English class. So at this point, like, again, I was like, junior year went well. Senior year, I took like
Miss Nilsson English, yeah? Okay, I know her.
So it was 5 or 6 concurrent enrollment classes.
Okay.
Just to see if I can handle college.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So I have English 1010 the first day of class. She's like, I have too many students in my class. This is going to be the hardest class of your life.
They always say that.
Yeah, she's going to be the hardest class of your life. I am not going to slow down. I will try to help you as much as I can, but if you can't keep up, you're going to fail. Dude, after that, I went up to her and I was just like, again, ESL, English as a second language. I was like, for the love of God, like, I don't want to drop this class, but if I have to, I will. But I am going to ask you to help me if at all possible. And she's like, no, oh, honey, like, I was just trying to, like, weed out some people, stay in my class.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Do great. And I was like, okay. And because of how she, like, treated me that day, I, like, felt like I could trust her, and especially because she was English, ESL. I can't write that well. I mean, I could write decent, but not the greatest, right, for a scholarship. So after meeting with Vanessa, I go and meet with her. I was like, Miss Nilsson, I I guess I might try to go to college. I was like, can you please
help me with
my essay? I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna write, but I'll get a rough outline. And then we can kind of like
go through it,
edit, grammar, whatever.
Sure.
Everything's whatever we need to do to make this. Cause I was like, I'm not. My parents can't pay for my college.
Yeah, for sure.
And so literally, Diversity Day comes up. It was November 20th, 2009. No, 8.
One of the two.
8.
Okay.
It had to be. No, this is my senior
year of high school.
Yeah.
So when did you graduate?
This was 8.
Okay.
9. This is 9. November 20th, 2009.
Okay.
I remember, dude, I wore jeans similar to this.
Mm-hmm.
Some black Vans, black button-up, white T-shirt. And I was like, this is the best that I can do, whatever. And then I go up, and all the people that are applying for their scholarships.
Yeah.
Suit and tie vest.
Yeah,
my buddy,
super nice.
CJ O'Neill. I asked one of my best friends. I met him he sat in front of me when we were taking that ACT test.
Okay.
And I remember what he was wearing vividly. He was wearing like this suit, white button-up vest, suit jacket, and a tie.
Jeez.
Turquoise teal tie. And I'm like, I am.
No way.
I'm not in the running for this. But
sure.
Whatever. I'll try.
Yeah.
So I take the ACT. I didn't feel too good, but thank God that they're having issues, so they couldn't give us our score.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like I don't, and if I would have gone, at that point I was like, I don't even know if I passed.
So you don't even know.
I didn't know
to
where
this day.
I got. Yeah. So I was like, I don't want to know because it'll just ruin everything.
Sure.
If it goes bad, right?
Right.
Because I didn't feel confident in how that test went.
Yeah.
So we go on with our whole spiel. We do our different events, speaker,
the whole,
spoke, Tolson spoke.
Mm-hmm.
And then part of the application, besides your essay, you had to interview with a panel.
Okay.
So it was Vanessa. I forgot the names. Dude's name. I don't want to say it was Todd, but it wasn't Todd. It was like the director. And then someone else in admissions.
Okay.
And before going in there, again, because I didn't feel good on my ACT test, I was like, all right, just make them your friend. Make them laugh. Make them love you.
Yeah.
So I just go in, and of course, I see all these like little like pastry trees. Like, hey, like, do you want some pastries or some water?
Yeah.
And at that point, I was wrestling.
Okay.
And so I was just like, I'd love to, but I gotta keep weight. But you guys are making it hard with all this. Like, I just started making them laugh, man.
Yeah.
And then they just started interviewing me. I felt decent, not like the best, but I know that I made them laugh a lot. So I was like, okay, I might.
Yeah.
So then the end of the day comes. We go to our dinner. This is the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And they're announcing scholarships, dude. And I swear they went through like 50. Like, oh, this person got this much. This person. I'm just like, I didn't get it.
You didn't hear it, yeah.
So I have my mango cheesecake dessert right in front of me, man. And I'm just like, well, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Put my fork in. And they start announcing, and up until this point, they had announced all the scholarships, half tuition up until that point. And then the last group of scholarships that they're about to announce, or the last group, was full ride, 4 years, fully paid.
Yeah.
So I'm about to eat into my cheesecake. Like, if I didn't get any of like the small, I was expecting like a grand.
You're expecting a little bit. Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I didn't get any of those, I'm just fucking not worthy of these full rides, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I put my fork in the cheesecake. Gio Gonzalez was sitting right next to me, just looks at me. He's like, John, I'm going to call you out first person.
No way.
And I just got chills just saying that. But sure enough, dude, I was like, whatever. Started to put my fork up. And I was like, our first recipient, Jonathan Mejia.
No way, dude.
Like,
oh, the
emotions.
emotions.
I was just like, and I was about to bite my cheesecake, and then like it didn't click, and then it clicked, and I was like, no way. And then like Jill's like,
no way,
get
up there, man.
And I just hear all my friends cheering, and I was just like,
that's awesome.
What the hell is going on?
Yeah.
So I go up there. Vanessa's like, John, like, you're
Yeah.
great. And then we get our picture taken, and then I'm trying to go back to my desk, but literally I felt like I was in the center of the what's it called, that lounge where all the flags are at?
Yeah.
The international lounge?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All the tables, and I just see my friend, one of my closest friends that I grew up with. Her name's Vanessa Ayala. I just see her like walking towards me, and like you can see water in her eyes.
Yeah.
And she just comes up to me and hugs me, like kind of like just brings me in. And she's just like, John, you did it.
That's crazy.
Fucking did it. And that's when I just like burst into tears. I was like, oh my God.
That's so crazy.
Happened. And then literally, dude, call my dad. Because, dude, the night before that, my dad was stressing me the fuck out. He was just like, you're not doing enough. And I'm like, I don't even know what to do, what to prepare. Like, I have no questions. Like, I don't know what to do. And he was just screaming me, dude. And I was just like, literally, I went into my room and like about cried, and my mom was like, "It's gonna be fine." I was like, you guys can't pay for my college. You guys can't get a loan." I was like, you do understand, like, if you guys want me to go to college, I have to go to the military so that they can pay for my college. Like, there's no other way.
That's probably second chance, second option, right?
Yeah. And so I call my dad, dude, and I'm like, Dad, you do not have to pay for my college at all. Like,
that's crazy.
It is handled. Yeah, that's nice. I'm at the gym. I'll call you later.
No way.
Bro, I'm like... but just to show you, like, the type of dad that he is. Like, when I graduated from college, he was drunk. He was super happy about it, right?
Yeah.
But we, like, ran into each other. We're kind of alone, and he's just like, John, I'm not going to be proud or fully proud until you get your master's. I was like, bro, I just graduated from college with honors. I graduated like cum laude. And I'm like, and that's not enough? Like, what the hell? I mean, I understand. He just wants what's best for me, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, obviously, and it's kind of interesting to hear that. I mean, that's an awesome story, by the way. But also, just to hear that kind of what your dad kind of did and, kind of how he responded. That's kind of what I feel you kind of think about when you think about, a Hispanic or Latino dad, comes from somewhere else, obviously moved over to the States to make a better life for them, better life for you, right, for their kids. And just being that stone cold when you call them. Like, that's crazy. You would assume a little bit, maybe a little bit more like, oh, dude, awesome job, can't wait to see him when we get home, whatever that may be, right? I assume your mom was probably a little bit more happy when you told her.
She was happy, but I thought she'd be more happy, but I think it's just due to the fact that she didn't really understand the magnitude of what this meant. Mm-hmm. I was like, Mom, it's
done.
Like, on paper, I think it was like valued at like 25, 30 grand.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of it all, especially if you graduate from school of business,
it's more.
It's a lot more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just like, you don't have to worry about any of this. And like literally the only thing that my dad paid for college was my freshman year books. That was it.
Oh, really?
Everything else I paid.
Dang. Jeez. Wow. Dude, that's crazy, bro. I mean, obviously, it's just so crazy to see, right? Because especially to hear about, just because of like, you know, elementary, middle school, high school, you know, all these things that you kind of went through, and then to kind of have that, you know, big thing at the very end. Obviously not the very end, but like going into college, you get this amazing scholarship, you get this amazing opportunity. Your parents, I assume, didn't go to college,
No.
right? Family members, maybe cousins, aunts, uncles.
I'm the first person in my family to go to college.
Completely. That you know of, right?
No, it's
completely, like, you know, for
completely.
sure. Wow.
Yeah.
You're the first one that went, probably first one that graduated.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, that's super cool.
It's crazy. It happened. I don't know. I mean,
Who would have thought?
I think it's all luck. I mean, I think it's, I don't know. I always fuck up this quote. It's one of my favorite quotes, but it's like luck and preparation. No, luck. No, it's preparation. Opportunity.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
No, it's something along the lines of like luck and dedication. I forgot how it goes. It's something with luck, dedication, and opportunity.
Huh.
I don't know. I gotta.
Gotcha.
But it's one of my favorite quotes because it's just like literally that's. If I can summarize my life, it's that. It's just I did the work, and I just got lucky. I was at the right place at the right time.
It sounds like luck, right? But at the end of the day, if you kind of look back at it, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you had to, you know.
Again, if I would have never gone to that funeral.
True. You never would have met.
That's literally what launched everything.
Yeah, you never would have met her. You never would have gone through that process. And I mean, honestly, good on. Remind me the name, Anna. Like honestly, good on her too, because I feel like today, you know, maybe not even so many people would think, oh, hey, you know, I'm someone that's in college. I meet someone at a funeral or a party, so to speak, and I say, hey, you know, you seem like someone that maybe needs to go to college or would like to go to college. Or something made her think that, right? Today, do you think people would, you know, kind of do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
I would hope.
You would hope.
That's what
I'm right?
I think they're definitely. I mean, I try, right? Like I talked to you, Angel, and Joe about Workday, and that was your beginning of your college career.
Yeah,
You guys were freshmen.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I am very, 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 very thankful for Anna and Miss Nelson. I remember I gave her flowers. I got my scholarship. I don't know where I went, but I bought her the prettiest roses I could. And so I went to the next day. I got her a copy of the scholarship that they had given me.
That's so cool.
So she still has it. Like my sister has her right now for English.
Oh, really?
And she's like, "Hey, is this your scholarship?" I was like, "Yeah, it's mine."
Dude, that's so crazy.
So she still has that framed.
No way.
And I gave her flowers the day literally. That happened Friday. That Monday when I went to school, I gave her flowers.
Wow.
And then when I graduated college, you know, your sash, I wrote on it. I was like, I can't thank you enough, or something. It was something along the lines of, I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for me. I will never forget the little people. Thank you.
Oh yeah. So it's funny. I had her too for English, right? And I do remember that she had something like that, because that phrase reminds me of something that she had in her classroom. I was like, oh, dude. I'm pretty sure I saw that in her classroom framed up somewhere.
I gave her as soon as I graduated, framed it.
Wow.
Signed it.
That's super cool. That's so cool, man. I mean, crazy story there.
That's really why, I try, dude. Like, again, I'm a little cold, but I'm not just going to go up to you and be like, hey, you need some help. Like, you gotta put in some work and be like, hey, I need
that's what you did.
This. Yeah,
exactly. That's what you did. That's what your parents did. Probably what your siblings are doing, right? They're probably putting in that work, right? Trying to get stuff done, and you know, that's all it really takes, right?
Yeah.
You got to work hard enough to get lucky, so to speak, right? So cool, man. I mean, awesome upbringing, obviously, right? I know we're coming up somewhat on time here, but just kind of going up after, you know, college is done. You know, you at Workday, right? I think Workday was your first job out of college. No, what was the first one?
Yeah, so I moved out. So I moved out of my house in 2014 officially. Well, I had been living in Salt Lake for 2 summers prior to that, so 2012, 2013. And then moved out there for good. Yeah. So again, Just luck. I don't know how, but I met the LSU president.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Lupe Tellez at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Manny Tellez, his
Okay.
older sister.
Okay.
And because college was a whole different experience. I didn't know how to navigate. Because again, I did not know I did not know college was going to be a thing.
Right.
Until senior year of
High school. Yeah.
So I went in undeclared, and then I went business undeclared, and she caught wind of that, and she's like, "Hey, like, I'm a part of a group that helps, like multicultural students essentially to get internships so they can get their foot in the door in the corporate world.
Right.
Do you want to learn more about this?" I was like, "Sure, why not? Like, if I can get an internship, that'll
be sweet.
Good for my resume.
There you
Just
go.
build my resume.
Yeah.
And get some money."
Yeah.
And so she introduces me to this group called Inroads.
Yep.
And so I meet with them, and you're a great candidate. Like, we want to help you, whatever. And so they get me this internship. Well, they gave me a bunch of list of companies to apply for that. Like, hey, this might work, this might not, this might work.
Yeah.
And so there's this company called Cintas.
Oh, that's right.
And I was like, it sounds interesting. Why not?
Sure.
And like they had said really good things about it. They had people that had already gone through the program that were doing really well and were really successful in the program as well. So I interned there for 2 summers. I did an office, like an HR-esque internship, and then the second year was more like on the production end, like speeding up the supply chain, and like getting things up and going, being more efficient. And so that went well as well. So when that ended, they gave me an offer, like, we want you to
come work over there.
Come work for us. But they still made me go through a whole interview process. And
oh, really? After giving you the offer?
Yeah. And so I was like, okay. Then it gets really bad. So 2014, I got married, right? I go on my honeymoon. I get back. And I was kind of like an account manager. I had like a bunch of customers. I just make sure that they're good and whatnot.
Yeah. At Cintas.
Yep. So I go and visit a customer, and I'm in a company vehicle, and I'm reversing, and I rear-ended, or I hit the customer's truck or something.
Oh,
I'm like,
gosh.
That sucks.
Jeez.
We'll get it covered, like, car insurance, it'll be paid for, don't worry about it, whatever.
Yeah.
Cool. I get to the office. No, before I get to the office, I get a phone call from my GM.
Yeah.
And mind you, and I got some other backstories to this as well. This is where, like, I was like, I'm done. The GM calls me. He's like, "What the heck is going on? What are you doing? Like, what if you would have killed somebody?" Just reamed me.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm just like, "Cool, thanks for asking if I was okay." Hung up. And this is my GM.
No way.
I just didn't care. And then I get to the office, and he's just waiting for me outside. And he's just like, "Dude, like, what were you thinking?" And I was just like, "Dude, like, I already told you, like, it is what it is. Like, I'm sorry. Like, no one, like, everything's okay."
Yeah.
It was just a little fucking scratch.
It's a fender bender, dude. It's fine. Yeah.
Then I go inside, and I start talking to a couple of my teammates and whatnot, and they're like, "Dude, this is going to piss you off, but you never should have been there." And I was like, "Why?" "That account ended last week."
Shit.
And I was like,
no way.
No one told me.
No one told you.
And so that day, this was July, probably the last week of July, I was like, I'm quitting in a year.
Really?
And I did.
In a year? So you stayed a whole another year after that?
A whole year.
Wow.
Like 1 year. As soon as it hit July, I quit. They tried to like stop me from leaving. My manager at that time said, "What can I do to make you stay?
Really?
What can I do?"
Jeez.
And I was like, "Dude, this decision was made a year ago. I'm not staying."
Did you know what you wanted to do?
Nope.
Like, is there a reason?
I knew I wanted to go into tech so that I could be at work there. I knew I had a couple friends that worked there already. I just didn't have that tech experience.
Yeah.
Or I mean, at that point, maybe I was just a little ignorant, but I was just like, in order for you to be in tech, you gotta,
right.
you either have to have an
like a tech background or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which I had none of that.
Right.
Like freaking garments and mats and shit.
Yeah.
So, I went to a startup called Video Muno. They make it seem very be technological, whatever, but in all reality, it's just a personal production company to make HR specific videos.
Huh.
That's
Okay.
all it was.
Yeah.
They make it like, oh, you capture data and sure that people want. No. It was strictly just a video so that, open enrollment comes around.
Sure. They have.
Here's your open enrollment. These are
the
your
video.
benefits. These are what you can cover. And then, like, rather than just making, like, an hour-long video, you could, like, we can make it so it would go, a different path. Like, if you want to learn about HDHP and an HSA, like, you can click on this, and then it will guide you this route for the video. Or if you want to learn about PPOs, it'll bring you here.
Like learning videos.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's how it was.
Yeah.
So as a startup, they made me in charge of the whole sales process. I had to like get us up and going on Salesforce, get us up and going on inside sales, and then creating our whole sales process, like the funnel. Like we're gonna start from here, and by the time we get here, we either close or we move on.
Right.
So I had to set up that whole process, and then we went live, and it was just me just to kind of get things going, just like get out all the kinks before we could hire people. So we were closing deals, right, getting business. And then my VP was all like, hey, if we can get other people to sell for us, I will give you that commission. Huh. And what made it a great product is that because it was in regards to insurance, the providers would pay for the service. The basic package was 10, the most expensive one was 16 grand, and they would pay for it for each year. Yeah, so it's 16 grand a year.
Yeah.
I was all right, let's do this.
Yeah.
So I found a bunch of people that were like, yeah, we'll like promote this, la 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 la. Mm-hmm. And dude, I was there for, at this point, this is 9 months in.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, they pull me into a meeting like, hey, all these businesses, all these customers and everything that you brought in and that our partners brought in, that are those relationships that I built, we're not going to pay you on any of that. Dude, just cutting my check by like $80K.
Jeez. I was going to say that's a lot of money.
And this was like a fat check.
Yeah.
Fat bonus. And I was just like, peace.
See ya.
I was
if that's the case, see ya.
Fuck you guys. I left. And
basically just used you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I ended up leaving. I took like a 2-week like coming to life moment, just like
hiatus kind of a
yeah, just like. But then Doug Fia reaches out and he's like, hey, you're doing really well at your previous org, you're closing business, especially because we were staying in contact just because he was really good at sales.
Okay.
So I was like, hey, like what would you change differently with my process? And
show
me. And then he's like, dude, you have the experience, like let me bring you to Workday.
Yeah.
I was all right. So we went through the whole process, applied, and did CSD for 4 years. And then got bored of sales. I was like, I want to try something else. And went to consulting, and that's what I've been doing now for like 3 years now.
Yep, that's what you've been doing now. That's crazy, man. Yeah, I didn't know you had that situation with Cintas, because I remember that you did mention working there, but damn, like
Cintas did me dirty.
Both of those companies did, because obviously Cintas, you never should have been there, never should have been in a situation. Luckily for you, obviously you still stuck around for a year, and then obviously you left. Just something different. But this new company where, you kind of do a lot of this work for them, basically help create their entire sales process.
And I would check, I just keep tabs. I don't talk to anyone there because I was pissed.
Yeah.
I literally, as soon as they told me that, I'm done. Like, this is my last day. This is my last resignation.
Yeah.
And I walk out.
It's like a meeting.
If you guys have anything to tell me, like, I don't care. Send me my check, I'm done.
Jeez.
And so.
Because that was wrong. That's crazy.
I was just like, I had spent like 6 months.
Do you know if they're still in business?
No, they're not. That's what I was gonna get to. Because I would just keep tabs just to see how they're doing. And they're no longer in business. So.
Well, when you kind of have those practices, right, and you kind of treat people that way, it kind of comes back to hit you a little bit. So.
Workday's been awesome. Like I said, I loved it from the start. I remember running into you and Joe and Angel, and I was like, you guys are freshmen right now, but like remember this company. I promise you're still gonna.
I do remember. It's funny, and I think I didn't really start thinking about life after college until probably my junior, senior year, really. But I think senior year is kind of where I was like, yeah, like I really need to start thinking really seriously.
Lopez, I helped him with his interview.
Yeah.
And then Angel's like, hey, Reyes is trying to come here.
Yeah.
So we jumped on a call, and
Yep.
I was like, all right, dude, like,
this is what you gotta do.
This is what you gotta do. This is what you gotta say. This is how you're gonna do it.
Yeah. And the process is a lot different than what, I think what you did, what Lopez did, what I did, because even today, it's like a very different process. Like most people don't have to do.
Back then, what was it? It was
the email.
Yeah. So back then, it was the recruiter, and then it was for me it was 3 sets of interviews with 2 different managers. Mm-hmm. So it was 2 sets with 2 different managers. So mine was like Kyle Shumway, Jaren, Forrest, and Tony. And then it was the senior managers.
Kyle was manager?
Kyle Shumway. It was a different Kyle.
Oh,
you didn't know.
Gotcha.
He moved on to an accounting executive. I don't know if he's still there.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's an AE.
Yeah, so he was.
I know who that is. So he was. He's a manager.
CSD manager.
Really, I didn't know that. Yeah, he's killing it.
And then from there, it went to. And then it was a senior manager. So that was Andy, and Spencer, and Heather wasn't there. So our old director at that time. Wasn't there. So I didn't get to interview with her, and I thought I did decent. I was like, I'm not sure, but I remember driving down 400 South going west. Right before I turn left, I get a Pleasanton a phone call, and I'm like, huh? Hello? And they're like, hey, this is workday. I'd like to extend you an offer.
Nice. Yes, thank goodness you don't have to work at, some other job.
Yeah, I mean, especially at that time, that's like tech was always at workday, but I feel like at that point, that's when tech was really starting to boom. So
yeah, for sure.
In all reality, I probably would have been fine.
So you started at what year?
2016.
2016 is when you started? Gotcha. Dang. So yeah, I was a sophomore then when you started. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, because I remember going to like Bear Lake or something.
Yeah.
And I was,
on the east side.
Yeah.
I remember vividly.
Really?
It's probably it was literally either Labor Day weekend or July 4th.
One of the two, yeah. And I remember I hitched a ride with you. I don't remember what the hell we talked about the whole drive there, but I remember when we got there, you definitely talked about that stuff there and stuff. So.
Yeah, because I remember Joe was all like, "Yeah, well, I'm thinking about being a teacher."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Dude, we just hired a teacher that's doing pretty well in our department, so don't let that discourage you. Like, teaching isn't your thing, or you don't want to do that." Like,
you can do this. Yeah. It's fine. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah. That's crazy. Wow. And then you've been there ever since. And what do you think you're gonna do next? I mean, what's the plan right now?
Definitely travel. I think that's always been my thing. I'm gonna continue. Like this year, has by far been the craziest year in terms of traveling.
You're Pitbull, bro. I'm gonna call you Pitbull now. You're freaking Mr. Worldwide, dude. I feel like you're always everywhere.
I've been doing as much as I could this year, just to make up for the last 2 years of things that I've missed. I definitely want to make a change in my career. I don't know what route I want to go. I like consulting. Do I have the patience for it? Yes. Do I want to have the patience for it? No.
Gotcha.
Another part of me wants to go back to the chase. I kind of want to go back to
sales.
I kind of want to go to the solutions consultant route.
Okay.
Another part of me wants to learn coding, get certificates in, and see what that brings.
See what that does, yeah.
But ultimately, just continue working on my house, either sell or hold, get into property management.
Yep.
And then the biggest goal, and everyone that knows me knows this, has always been to move back to Los Angeles.
Really?
So a big chunk of my family's there. A bunch of my friends were already there. A bunch of my friends have already moved out there.
Okay.
And it's just a scene where like I just thrive. Like this year I went to LA for my birthday. My girlfriend took me there for my birthday.
Yeah.
And dude, I was depressed. Like I was down and under when we were leaving. I was like,
oh really?
I don't want to. So like. Funny story. So, like, we were in Venice. We stopped just to sit down. I think she wanted corn at Venice Beach. Mm-hmm. Sat down, leave. And right as before we go to this restaurant. So, if you ever go to Venice, go to Rose on Rose Boulevard.
All right.
Best restaurant. Right before we go to this restaurant, I realized I don't have my wallet. I can't find my wallet.
Yeah.
And so, like, well, I paid for your corn. So it has to be either there
or somewhere along the way.
Or somewhere where we were sitting on the lawn. Cause we were just sitting down.
Okay.
Because we were working too, so I was just working mobile.
Really?
I was just coming and going. So we go to the corn place. I was like, hey, babe, by chance have you seen a missing, like a wallet black, has a couple cards? Like, no. Like, fuck. But in my head, externally I was like, fuck. Internally I was like, fuck yes, because my girlfriend can just fly back to Salt Lake. She can overnight me a passport.
Okay.
And then I can just stay in LA for like another week or two.
You don't need a passport to fly.
I know, but I didn't have my ID.
Oh, that's right. You don't have your ID. Jeez, yeah.
So, and I didn't want to go through the whole process of like going to the airport without any of that. And
yeah.
You can still fly, but then you have to go through a whole thing with security.
Yeah.
So I was excited. I was like, I'm going to stay here for
pumped.
another week.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm going to stay here for a week or two. I was going to milk that thing.
Yeah.
Especially because I have family and friends. I can just stay anywhere.
And
I had my work laptop, which was the biggest thing. I was like, I can just buy whatever clothes I need, and then I can work from here. Everything's fine and dandy.
Yeah.
And then we go to the Baskin Robbins where we sat to eat her corn, and she goes inside. She's like, let's just see if they found anything. Bro, sure enough, she goes inside. She's like, I got your wallet. And I was depressed, dude.
Like, shit.
I did not.
No.
I did not want to come back.
That's crazy.
But ultimately, I do want to move out of Utah. My ideal situation would be to be in it. Like, besides LA, I do know a lot of people, but it's big enough that, like, you're not going to run into all these people.
Yeah.
But my ideal situation is to be somewhere where no one knows me. Just
sure.
on my own.
Yeah.
Or on the flip end, move further east of Holiday into the canyon. I want a house, a lot of windows,
in the canyon,
big trees around my house, and my ideal morning is just hot chocolate,
patio,
dulce, snowing, and it's just chill.
That's two very extreme situations.
It's one or the other. That is true. Other than that, though, it's just I continue traveling, continue growing.
Yeah.
If you go to another F1 event, go to Coachella next year. That's already solidified. Yeah. Biggest goal right now is seeing Frank Ocean live.
Okay.
Sounds like it's going to be possible at Coachella next year.
Okay.
And then...
That'd be sweet. I like
Frank Ocean. I am debating my MBA.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, it obviously doesn't sound like, expanding the family is anything in the works at the moment.
No. I mean, Dan and I, we have a good thing going. Maybe something could happen, but she knows.
She's younger than you.
It's whatever. What's the word? There is a word. But whatever I tell her applies to me as well. So like the first date that we went on I don't consider our first date. She does, because she's the one that called me and said, "Let's go do this." We went to Chick-fil-A. We went shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went to Chick-fil-A and we started chatting, and I kind of gave her my background. And I like straight up told her, I was like, if this goes anywhere, just know that if I'm not happy, we're done. Like, I will cut it.
Sure.
I don't care what you think, what you have to say. I won't listen. Like, we're done.
Yeah.
But on the flip end, if I don't make you happy, no matter what I say, just end it. Just move on.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of our agreement that we've kept. But no, things have been going well. We've been shockingly together for almost 4 years here in December.
Dang.
But it's been fun. I mean, what's weird is she is 6 years younger than me.
Okay, I was gonna say she's probably a little younger, right?
Way younger. But she hasn't experienced that much. And
she
so,
hasn't?
No.
Oh, gotcha.
Everything that she's done.
It's kind of like your first with you.
It has been her first, yeah.
Really?
Like all the national parks. I've taken her to almost all the national parks in Utah. Taken her to California several times. We've gone to Mexico now together. We've gone to Coachella together. We've gone to Jackson. We've gone to Park City. We've gone to Yellowstone.
Yeah.
We've gone to Idaho. We've gone to Nevada. Yeah, I got to take her to Nevada as a 21-year-old.
Oh, really?
She wasn't a 21-year-old. Damn, maybe she was 21.
And she's from here or no?
Yeah, no. So she's kind of the same background. She's from Anaheim.
Okay, California.
But lives in Ogden.
Oh, okay. That's where her family's from?
Mm-hmm. No. Her parents are from, I gotta say this right, 'cause she's Mexican, she's probably gonna listen to this. She's from Chihuahua.
Chihuahua.
Her family's from Chihuahua, but she was born in Anaheim.
Okay.
And then they moved to Ogden at like the same age as that.
About you?
So, yeah,
okay,
like
gotcha.
Young age.
So she's just been here basically her whole life.
Yeah. Same.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see where that goes, bro. Because I mean, she's still young, so obviously she's not in a rush.
That's the other thing. That's what.
But
she doesn't hear this, but that's what kind of like holds me back.
Sure.
Besides a bunch of other things, but it's just like when I got divorced, one of the things that I realized, like, and again, this is just my experience. This is how I see it. I was like, I got married young. There's so many things that I missed in that age, at that age, because I got married I was barely 22. I was the week before my wedding, I had turned 22.
Okay.
And we got divorced at 25. So we were together for 3 years. So I was still, and that's how old, she's 24.
Okay, so she's 24 right now. Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And so I'm just like, you have so much more to experience. And I don't know, I don't think she's dated that much because, again, her parents are Mexican.
Right,
and when we started dating, she lived at her parents' house.
Yeah. Did you meet them then? You met her parents and stuff?
Oh, yeah, her parents. I know her mom loves me. Her dad's like, I think I've grown on her dad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, I hope. I mean, granted, she is experiencing a lot with me.
Yeah.
But who knows? I'm just like.
It's 4 years now, you said, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, man, I don't know.
And then like school, I need her to finish school. I told her this already. But
she's going or no?
Yeah, she's going.
Okay.
She's studying to be an RN.
Okay, nice. Weber or?
So she's going to get her associates at Slick.
Okay.
I don't understand nursing, man. Like, you have to get all these certificates, CNA, LPN,
some crazy
all
shit,
these other things. And then you can get your associates. And then you can get your bachelor's in nursing. Yeah, so it's a whole... And then you have to take your MCLATs. She can tell me later. But
something like that. Some
tests to get your RN certificate or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's this whole big process. But she's doing really well. I mean, she's putting in the work, right? Like, she wants to go into cosmetics.
Okay.
Type nursing. So right now she works for a plastic surgeon.
Oh, gotcha.
In Farmington. No, sorry, Layton. You just hear across
the really? Just right here? Nice.
Yeah. And yeah, she like gets to watch like rhinoplasties, Botox,
really,
suction,
jeez,
full mummy. Like,
hey, that's popping here, man. That's big business out here, I'm sure.
Booming. And then her cousins, I don't know if they're even family anymore. You know, Mexicans, everyone's related somehow.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say her cousin is in Mexico in Rancho Cucamonga. No.
Rancho Cucamonga?
She's in Ontario. That's where that's their mission.
I was going to say, that's in California, no? Yeah.
So she's but this girl's, her cousin's in Ontario. She is studying to get like her master's in nursing so that she can do the injections. Oh. And it sounds like she wants to have her own office.
Wow. So her own practice, yeah.
And she's like, when I do have my own practice, I want to hire you as an RN. And I was like, and that's the path.
And she's going to be out in California? Yeah. Dang, man. You're leaving?
I'm not working this hard just to, like, support it. I was like, I need you to, like...
Sure, yeah.
I need you to...
Especially in today's day and age, bro. Yeah. Shit's expensive as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. I need you to work. It's not like I need you to work. It's just...
Right. It's nice. It's nice, yeah.
Significantly easier, and the life that we would be able to help our family. Like, and again, I didn't really get into this that much, but, like... Before I graduated college... When I graduated high school, I thought I wanted to do like psychology, social work. I wanted to help people.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I just want to help people.
Yeah.
And I still do. I want to like have scholarships. I want to like help people get to wherever they need to be, wherever they want to be.
Yeah.
And you can put in all the work physically and mentally to help someone, but
at the end of the day,
money financially will always help.
Sure.
Go a long way. Like, rather than me doing it, I can hire someone else to like go do counseling or help with financial aid or help them with getting up and going with college. Because dude, I don't know how your college experience, like getting from high school to applying to going to college, but my experience was like chaotic. Like my first day of college, I about dropped out. My first day. Yeah, 'cause
day one.
I had science, I had speech 1010,
Speech 10, huh?
And math 10, and one other class. I can't remember. I think it was psychology or something like that. But,
yeah.
Biology is one of the classes. So I went to my speech 10 class, overwhelmed.
Really?
What the hell is going on? Like all the we're already getting homework pages to read. I'm like,
right. Like what the hell?
We go to class and it turns out I got the wrong book.
Oh shit.
And so I'm just like stressing because I was like,
jeez.
Oh, homework, whatever. Yeah. So I leave that class just like almost in tears, and I'm like, college is not for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck the fact that I have this paid. Like,
yeah.
It's not for me.
Yeah.
So I go to who I know, Miss Nelson.
Yeah.
And I was like,
really?
Miss Nelson. And again, before I started speaking to Miss Nelson, I was like, I'm taking 15 credits of class. That's what I set up for my first year.
Yeah.
I had already had my plan B. I'm going to drop out. I'm going to move out of my parents' house.
Really?
And deal with that guilt.
Yeah.
I'm going to go work somewhere. And eventually, once I make it or like
do something
well off,
then
I can come back to my parents.
Jeez. That's scared, huh?
Going to like, just move, like just disappear.
Yeah.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
But I went to Miss Nelson and I was just, I don't know what to do. I don't think this is for me. I don't know. Like, I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And she's like, John, just drop a class.
Yeah. I think you had to have like 12, right? At least 12 credits for the scholarship. So you had to have at least 12. So yeah, I mean, if you dropped it.
Yeah, and that's what I did. I dropped the class and I dropped speech because I didn't have that book.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that first semester I finished with like a 3.8, 3.7 GPA. Graduated college with like a 3.7, 3.8.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that one small difference.
Wow. That, I mean, for you to almost drop out on day one, that's pretty nuts, bro. I had no idea.
I was a rainy day.
It's just perfect day to give up.
Yeah, it was just a picture movie moment right there. But it changed.
Well, it's crazy, bro. Crazy story, honestly. I know we could probably go on for fucking ever, right? And I think the next time would be cool to also like bring your girlfriend over, maybe, kind of see what she's gone through and stuff. I'll have to do that because I think it'll be cool to also hear her story.
Her story's awesome. Because like, dude, her dad was from all of our parents from the trenches, but
for sure,
like he went from the trenches to like a maintenance man at some apartments to a property manager now. So
really?
He owns a bunch of property in
no
California,
way.
Here in Ogden, doing
wow.
I'll go to him and be like, hey, like, what should I do? And like, luckily, like, I've been doing my research on properties,
right?
That like I'll like keep up.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you can do this, so you don't have to pay taxes and like all these different things. It's like,
this guy knows his shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he definitely he's learned a lot.
Absolutely.
Really? Wow.
Absolute entrepreneur.
Wow.
Like, not in like the biggest tech sense.
Sure.
But, like
small time.
We boiled these. This is gonna sound funny, but I'll let you borrow the things so you can try it. We boiled our steaks because her brother boiled. Sounds bad.
Oh, is it like a machine? No, it's like a machine where you put them in a bag.
Yeah, yeah. You boil it, and
I've
then
heard
you
of
put it on
that. I've heard of that. It's like reverse searing or something like that.
It stays so juicy and so good. But her brother made the best steaks. Probably one of the best steaks I've ever had in my life. And these are Costco steaks.
Really?
And her dad was so impressed. He's like, let's start a restaurant and do this. Like, how much
way.
What was it cost? Like, dude, just mid-dinner, just trying to figure it out. I'm like,
wow.
Yeah, this man, like,
he knows
he's a business.
That's awesome.
And then, he used to own a store in Chihuahua.
Okay.
That he sent his son to go and run for like 2 years.
Yeah.
That's
cool. No, for sure. I mean, I think that'd be really cool. That'd be really fun. Obviously, having her, maybe also have both of you guys at the same time, just to kind of, get a couple things here and there. But so cool, man. I mean, I do like to, obviously that's a crazy story, dude. I appreciate you, sharing that and stuff. I do want to maybe just touch on like a current event ish, just to kind of keep the podcast, relevant. We'll probably get you out of here like around 1:30 or so. But just kind of going on about what's going on today, right? I mean, your whole story has been super interesting. You mentioned, your house and stuff. I know we've talked about your renovations and everything. Just kind of curious, what current event are you like following up right now? Like real estate stuff, the economy.
I
What
think
are you most
there's a
interested in,
bunch.
right?
Honestly,
there's a lot of things to talk about. I know.
There is a lot, but mostly it's midterms, Trump,
Right.
North Korea, and China.
That's a lot of shit.
Like
Sounds like politics that you're kind of
more
been.
politics, yeah. Just because, like,
So
I have been hearing a lot. I mean, everything that I've been hearing earlier this year is coming to fruition. That things were going to look good, inflation was going to drop for a little bit, and then it was going to pick up after August, September, which it is.
Okay.
Unemployment's going back up, and which was predicted because like all these layoffs that happened, they can't go under unemployment, which was why the unemployment was still going down.
Yep.
Because of their severance packages. Once
Yep.
their severance packages end, that's when shit was going to hit the fan. So I honestly think, economy-wise, we haven't seen the worst.
No.
Nowhere close.
I don't think so.
I think it's gonna hit the fan.
Yes, we're not at the bottom.
On top
for
of
sure.
that, all the different wars that are going on. North Korea popping 30 missiles in one day. That's
over
very
who was it? Like Japan and stuff.
South
They kind
Korea
of
and Japan. Yep.
right. That's kind of what was going on.
That is very scary, because I think.
So you're
in my
seeing.
opinion, I think they are going to test.
Sure.
I think China or Russia or someone is saying.
I mean, there's a lot of shit going on. A lot of
Yeah.
missiles going on.
And then China, the scariest tweet that I saw. I don't know if it was a tweet or an article that I was reading.
Yeah.
They're predicting that China will invade Taiwan
Right.
before end of year.
Right. Oh.
So that's scary.
Interesting. Yeah.
And then it's not that I should care about the midterms. I don't. But it's what comes after
Yeah.
the midterms,
Mhm.
the whole Trump, all the different court cases that are going on,
Sure.
and then seeing how both parties react.
Yeah. So I think that's a lot of different things, right? But I think
Overall, I think
overall,
chaos is coming.
sure.
And that's what I'm waiting for.
sure. Are you reading this just like emails from?
Twitter, Reddit.
Okay, so you're doing a lot of social media.
News, yeah.
Yeah, you're not really like going on like
Lex
CNN.
I listen to like a bunch of like
Yeah.
Lex Friedman podcasts. I listen to Joe Rogan. I don't listen to any of the comedians you'll have on unless I know them and like them.
right.
But typically, it has to be like a well-respected,
Interesting.
like, researcher. Or
Yeah.
something that I'll
You
listen
ever
to.
heard of the PBD podcast? Patrick Bet-David.
Mm-mm.
He's pretty good. I'll send you.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you because he's pretty smart, dude, and I really listen to him a lot. And he's got a very intelligent podcast to where he'll have a lot of
Just
different
like
people,
Lex
right?
Friedman.
Kinda, but it's not like necessarily like he always has, the most intelligent minds there. He'll have like just the other day he had, like Antonio Brown was on there.
Okay.
He's had like mobsters and stuff like that on there. It's pretty nuts. But the way that he kind of has it, like he always talks about something current, right? He'll talk about what's going on in the economy, what's going on with real estate, why are prices like hell of expensive, why are they starting to kind of hold off a little bit. And so that's kind of why I brought up the current event on the whole, what are you listening to, right? And you're kind of like hearing a lot of stuff with politics, and it's just I'm just in terms of like maybe just you, your family, your girlfriend, like do you guys see eye to eye on certain things? Like do you think the same things there, or?
For the most part, like I'm just an open mind, right? Like I'll stay open minded as long as we can respect each other's
Sure,
opinion, right?
yeah.
Like, as long as if it gets heated,
That's
like,
the
I'm
biggest
just gonna
thing.
walk away. Yeah,
That's the biggest thing.
Like you can go off on your outlandish things. I don't care. Like
Sure, yeah.
I'll hear you, but if I don't care,
If the conversation's going nowhere,
yeah. But with Diana and my parents, for the most part, we are in alignment.
Yeah.
And
and I'm not saying
come to me
yeah,
for
Yeah.
economy things just because they're really worried. I've been telling them, I was like, right now is not the time to spend. Like
Yep.
right now is the time to save.
yeah,
Do not go stupid with the money.
Yeah.
I think it's going
to get worse. Yeah,
And I was like, yeah, your company is where you guys work has been well. Like everyone's always going to eat meat.
mm-hmm.
That'll never end, especially in the U.S.
Also, there's still Miller stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they live and die. I think that
Gotcha.
they've been there for like over 30 years. It feels like.
Wow.
But
But they kind of talk to you about what are you thinking?
yeah,
what
well,
are you
they're like asking
seeing?
us about Mexico, and it's just like, have you been to Mexico?
Yeah, I was there recently, but before then I haven't.
Okay.
No.
So from my understanding back then, Mexico, like people there would prefer dollars over pesos.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Now it's the other way around.
They would
They
prefer
want
pesos.
over
Why?
I don't know.
Did you see that when you were there or no?
Yeah.
Like people were not taking your cash?
We hired our driver.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to deal with the traffic.
Yeah.
And she told us, like, hey, like, you can't go to the banks and exchange these. And I think
Really?
it's just because there's that limited cash. Like, I was talking to one of my other buddies somewhere in the Middle East. They're not banks are
not handing out cash?
They're not giving out cash.
Really?
Even if you have whatever cash you have in the bank, they're not giving it to you.
Wow.
And I think it's going to trickle down. I don't think it'll happen here, but it might come close.
Yeah, no, I think it'll definitely get pretty bad, right? We, like you said, we haven't seen the bottom by any sense, right? I know I've heard a lot of people discuss the dollar's going down, the value of the dollar is like going down. Like obviously we've printed.
Is it going down?
No. I've heard of like different things from here and there, right? It's going down. It's a lot stronger than other currencies. But also, we printed a shit ton of fucking money. You know what I mean? Like a couple of years ago for this whole COVID shit, right? And so I've heard a lot of people like talk about gold and silver and obviously having real estate, like having some sort of an asset, right? Are you talking to your parents about that kind of stuff? Are you kind of getting into that?
I'm trying to learn as much as I can about property because I have cash on hand to buy property.
Yeah.
And again, it's shitty to say, but I mean, granted, I worked for this so
yeah.
I will preface with that. But like, I have the money so that when the economy tanks, it's going to suck because I'm a homeowner too. Houses are going to drop.
Yeah.
They have to drop.
Very, very, very badly.
Yeah. And so when that happens, I want to have cash on hand to pick up a couple houses.
Yeah, I agree.
And I told my dad, I was like, you don't have to if you want to. Let's go 50-50 on a house.
Yeah.
Especially in Logan, because I do want to buy a couple properties in Logan to rent.
Yeah, I agree.
And he's on board. And then like my brother, same thing. Like my brother's, he's starting to go to college. He's taking it really slow.
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully, like the Adderall has really helped him a lot, so he's doing really well in school.
Oh, that's good.
But same thing, I was like, dude, and especially because he's in college.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, I can buy a house. You're in school. You'll make friends.
Yeah.
And they need a place to stay.
Yeah. Well,
fuck their
in that town, I mean,
into our house.
In that city in Logan, I mean, it's a college town, right? So I just think anything you have there, you likely will not have it not filled. You know what I mean? Like, because during the school year, you got students, and then obviously during the summer, you got some students leave, but then also some people that have families will stay. Some of the older community will stay, and they'll probably like
get married.
Exactly, right. So that's a good spot, obviously, right? But I guess it's just that sense of like, okay, how many people are taking kind of thinking that way, like you are, right? Like kind of how many people from maybe like that have our background in sense of like our parents don't really know too much because your parents are asking you, right? It's almost like you should be asking your parents.
Like stocks,
exactly, like, right?
I saw the value of stock when because of workday stock.
Right.
I was at work at 70. At peak, it was at 307. I hadn't sold any shares until last year, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was showing my parents, and so I started dip my toes in that, just so I can teach my dad, like, look, like these are the stocks that I'm buying. These are my gains, or these are my these are my losses. But I want to learn so that because literally they're only savings, whatever you want to call it, that they have assets is their savings account, which isn't that deep, and their 401k. That's it.
Really? Yeah.
And then they have their house fully paid for.
Oh, that's good.
Which was nice because they only paid like $90,000.
No way.
But
back when
it's worth like 300. Maybe
I'm sure.
350.
In Logan, yeah.
And then we have another property up the canyon in Hiram.
Okay.
40 acres. We got it at cost.
Mm-hmm.
So we got it $1,000 an acre.
Wow.
And someone just offered somewhere close to like 180,000 for the 40 acres right next to us.
Wow.
So we're good there. And then my dad bought the FJ Cruiser at 62.
Oh, nice. No way.
We got it for $2,000. No, $1,800.
No way, dude. That's cool.
Barely updated.
Yeah.
And we have gotten offers for like 15, 16 grand.
No way, dude. That's sick.
So, I mean, they have a couple little things.
Right.
But I ultimately think that they want to move to El Salvador when they retire.
Oh, really? You think they're...
I mean, cost of living's like nothing down there. So.
Yeah. You guys were there recently, right? You guys were there for a little bit.
Yeah, we went out there in June.
Yeah.
Fuck, we could have gone on that story too, but...
No, for sure.
Yeah, I went when I was 13, hated that. When I went this year, and it was just night and day different.
Really?
Yeah.
You liked it? You had a good time?
If they can keep it that way, that'd be awesome.
Right.
But
they're the ones doing the crypto, no?
Mm-hmm.
The whole crypto thing?
Yeah.
Did you see anything there like about that or no?
I didn't see anybody using it, which is kind of
interesting.
Sad, but
yeah.
I'm sure it'll pick up eventually. But yeah, even there, like I talked to my dad. Like my cousin is buying a house in a very, very, very pretty like beach.
Okay.
Area.
Yeah.
His house is like $50,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
No way.
I think like 2 or 3 floors.
No
6
way.
Rooms, 3
wow.
bathrooms. Property tax will probably be like $100 a year.
No way.
And so, and especially with El Salvador becoming like as clean as it is right now, and like I don't know what it is now. It's been pretty quiet now, unless they freaking grab them all. But like up until our vacation in June, they had arrested and jailed roughly around 30 to 35,000 gang members in that country, like on site. Like if you had tattoos or if they had any connections to the gang, jail.
Wow.
Yeah, which is kind of scary because like you have no human rights.
Yeah, no, for sure.
With that, but.
Jeez. Yeah. Wow. That. Yeah. I mean, that obviously that's great for your your family, stuff, your cousin stuff, getting all that stuff, and obviously if your parents want to go down there, back down there, sweet. Good for them. But it sounds like you're gonna be having to go from Los Angeles to El Salvador to.
Dude, I wouldn't.
There you go.
Maybe I will
visit here and there, right?
Our kids, they gotta see El Salvador. They gotta see the roots, but
yeah.
No, ultimately.
Yeah, if you have kids, because that definitely doesn't sound like it's in the works at the moment.
No, I mean she's still young, so if Diane and I work out,
sure.
She's still young.
Cool.
Having kids scare me, man.
Hey, it's not bad.
Not because of like raising them, but just with everything that's going on, man. Like.
There's a lot of shit to go to kind of.
It was. I mean, and everybody says this, right? Older generations was simpler times back.
I know, yeah.
Times, like,
in a sense, you kind of understand that because obviously kids nowadays phones, all that shit.
But it just, I feel like it was like this. It was just like leveled.
Yeah.
And then maybe it'd go up a little bit, and maybe it'll go up a little bit. But now it's just, I feel like it's just.
Sure, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you kind of need to. Watch for, and I mean, even with us, like you definitely don't want them to kind of.
Well, dude, when I noticed
certain things.
When kids were reckless, my sister, she was in 6th or 7th grade, and she's like, "Yeah, someone got suspended at my school for having lean in middle school."
Lean?
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah, I'm just like, excuse me. She's like, have kids in my high school, middle school be like vaping, smoking their weed. And I'm just like,
dude, that's nuts.
And I told her, I was like, if you do this, don't tell me. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
But I was like, I would encourage you not to do any of this stuff until you're 18, or even then.
Just wait.
Your brain is still developing. I was like, I didn't understand that, but I was like, trust me. Like I thought I was an adult when I was 18. I was nowhere close to being an adult.
Yeah.
I was an adult when I was graduating college.
No,
like things.
Even
I didn't
today.
start feeling an adult or like starting being more responsible until I was like 26, 27.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at, and I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm a bit of an adult at this point, and like
you get a grip of everything.
You kind of have an understanding.
You understand everything, and then you're just.
But the thing is a lot of it is you kind of have to tell your younger siblings in a certain way that they're going to listen to you, because even if you tell them, hey, start doing this, and this, they're going to be like, nah, I ain't doing that shit.
That's what I always start with. I was your age once.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you this. It's probably going to go in one ear, out the other.
Yeah.
But I promise you 5, 10 years, maybe even sooner, you're going to look back at this conversation and you're going to say, damn it, I wish I would have listened.
Or thank God I did.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, take it with what however you want, but here's what I think.
From experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do what you want with it.
Yeah. Well, dang, dude. I mean, because, you have 2 younger siblings. I got 2 younger siblings, and I do the same thing. So we'll see. We'll see what the hell happens.
We were kids, right? Like,
yeah.
We'd take advice, but would we listen? Like,
who the hell knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Well, damn, dude. Okay. Well, that was a good conversation. It's good. Good little chat.
What was that?
Awesome story.
Probably
Probably like an hour and
like
almost 2. But it was good, bro. It was a good conversation. I appreciate it, dude. I'm gonna want to have you on it again. Later on. Maybe 6 months, a year from now. But
we could go.
That's the thing. That's the thing. You can. There's always something. Like, I'm sure once you kind of are driving home, you'll be like, "Damn, dude, I never said this or this or that."
El Salvador, I was like, "Oh yeah, my parents kicked me out of the country and sent me to El Salvador." And I'm like, I was reckless, but yeah, you let me know. And
yeah, dude, we'll come back. We'll come back and do it. So cool. Well, that was it. Appreciate it, brother. Like and subscribe, homies.
Thanks, everyone.
See ya.